gives us a great pleasure to find ourselves addressing you after you have spoken, Deputy Chief Justice. It's not a common thing. When we come to this court, we speak first and then you ask questions. So the opposite now being the case, you start to wonder whether we're going to be wishy-washy because you have said all the better things. And we must then keep quiet and clap hands and go home. But let me take this opportunity to thank you for giving us an opportunity to come and share in the moment of magnanimous magnitude, which cannot be equated to any other thing, Chief Justice Zondo. In my 20 years of practice, this is the first that we are sitting here as the BLA saying, go well, Chief Justice. For those that we couldn't do so, it would not have been because we couldn't do it, but it probably may have been because of many other reasons related thereto. We greet you today on behalf of the NEC of the BLA. And like I said, today marks one of those opportunities where an ordinary citizen addresses the leaders of government, from the executive as led by the capable Minister of Justice, and Parliament as led by the Speaker on my side. You can imagine how scary that is. And lastly, the judiciary, particularly as led by yourselves. I have appeared so many times before your colleagues behind you, the JPs of all the other provinces. And for that guidance, they have given us the ability to be able to come to this court and stand proudly to say we have come to bid farewell to one of our own. The BLA can easily claim that the Chief Justice has risen amongst the ranks, throughout the ranks, and has represented what it means to be born poor. We tell you now that in our understanding, we have learned one particular thing out of you, that you did not want to be defined by where you were born and who gave birth to you, and their inability to be able to have the financial muscle to take you to many other better institutions that they could have taken you to. We have heard yesterday that you have studied at the University of Zululand. In 1981, I think in my recollection is correct, KZN was still part of the general notion of what TBVCs looked like, and some of them were being established at that time. And I think very well that those kind of institutions were generally established for the black people. It was not established for everyone. But you saw the need to go to that institution and did not want it to define you. You did not want to characterize how you would want to end there. You wanted something much bigger, and you did not only want it for yourself, but you believed that it would be in the best interest of everyone, as time would determine that democracy shall then come 10 years later, or 12, 13 years later, since 1981 to 1993. And in 1994, when we voted, I'm sure you ululated a little more than all the others, because at the time of voting, you were educated enough to even appreciate what is the value of that vote. Therefore, for that, we believe that your participation could not have been taken for granted. It also marks a special moment in the history of this country. As we do so, bidding you farewell, we do so appreciating the fact that you have ran a race that a lot of us can only dream about. You have made your mark. You have chosen the space, as I said last week in the SCA, that all of you sitting in front of us and those behind me as magistrates, you have chosen the space for the brave. You have chosen the space to be able to tell anybody where to stop without even hinkering. You have chosen to tell us how to relate and how to behave. And for that, we owe you sincere gratitude. And as the judiciary, we urge you to continue doing the same thing, even post the presence of the CJ Zondo as he leaves all of you. Unfortunately, DCJ, I'm not very sure if we should be saying we are marking your exit to this court with a pinch of salt. I submit that we should be able to say, now you are going to have time to come and teach us. And it is important that you keep that promise. At least you made it to me, I can disclose it. So please be available to teach all the other young practitioners that have to come after us. We have had the opportunity to learn from you. Those that you are going to teach must come and appear before the colleagues that you leave on the bench, and they must be able to uphold the standards of these courts and the standard of every other court where they appear. So let us be able to celebrate your life, understanding how much you have been able to contribute to this whole narrative about the judiciary being the cornerstone of our democracy. You have answered all the questions honestly and truthfully at every other time that I saw you appear on every other interview. In our understanding, you got identified by your peers. You did not necessarily ambitiously wish to be where you are. I would refuse a narrative that says that you raised your hand because you thought you are better than everyone. I believe that others identified you and you accepted that they identified you. And with that, we urge you to continue being humble and being able to be guided where you are. We are proud that at 64 you are retiring. You are not at 70 where you tell us you won't be able to come. Post the first 12 months DCJ. Post the first 12 months DCJ, we expect him to come and teach at the Justice College. We don't expect him to sit at home and say, I'm still on retirement. That 12 months you talked about yesterday, it's something we must hold you to. Your elevation to this court, post your participation in the Labour Court and the High Court in Pretoria and everywhere else where you led, was just a true reflection of the fact that you were meant to come in and add value, and value you added. We have seen how best you put in place the Constitution, and you interpreted it in a manner that helped the ordinary man on the street understand what you meant. In the two judgments that I find very persuasive, and without suggesting that any other judgments were not. In the two judgments about the Rachivumo Rambuda and others, and versus Chivumo royal family, and the Mpepura Mabulana matter, you have actually showed that our constitution is for the people, and the people are not for that constitution. So let us all every day sing that song and make sure that we uphold people's rights in the manner that respects their culture and uphold their culture within the ambit of the Constitution. You showed that you are grounded, and for that we respect you. As a leader of the judiciary, you showed more mettle, more humaneness, humble character, and understanding when leading the JSC. Your decision to ensure that the kind of panel that people appeared before when they are being interviewed for the judge's position, your changes that you brought there are things that we must celebrate. The most dangerous thing we can do is to allow the JSC to deteriorate, because people will no longer want to come there. And when people don't come there, we'll run out of the justices and judges in the country, and we cannot afford to do that. Lastly, and in conclusion, you leave the judiciary in good space. You are leaving it in good hands. The person on your right hand, on my left, has been appointed correctly to lead this court and the judiciary. And for all that she has already told us she learned from you, we believe that she's going to take the battle for transformation much more further than we could look at it. And with that said, the BLA say, go and rest, old man, You have done your part. You have indeed done your part. You have run a race. You have made your mark in the sand, and nobody's going to actually erase it. And all the judgments that we have written will forever guide how we want to interpret the Constitution. May you have a beautiful day and a beautiful life, fella. Thank you.